Good evening, everyone. We are delighted to be back after some time with Dr. Faisal and Taqwa Khalifa and myself, Abdurrahman Baraka. In today's podcast, we would like to talk about something that's not really straightforward, and that is setting life goals and how to go about achieving them. It's a very weird, it's not weird. I want to describe it as by saying it's a very nebulous topic. You can't really put your fingers on it. At the same time, it could be a topic that, it's not straightforward. It's very difficult, actually. I don't know how we're going to go about discussing this. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of techniques to set life goals and go about achieving them, but we all fail along the path due to some reason or another. It's not always easy to do that. So we would like to discuss this today with Dr. Faisal, our expert on setting life goals and achieving them, and Taqwa, who, as always, has very insightful and very meaningful tips and tricks on the topic. So let's dive in. How are you doing today, Dr. Faisal?
I am doing fine. So this is a very interesting topic. I always wanted to offload it as quickly as possible, because this is the question that I face on almost everyday basis from people across all regions in all their ages and all their life circumstances. So what should I do, this or that? Should I make this decision or that decision? And over time, by going through life myself and by helping other people or advising them over things, I have developed some philosophies around this, and this is what we want to talk about today. And the idea is that usually when we are struck with this decision of should I study this or study that, should I go to industry or academia, should I stay in my country or move abroad, or should I go into this relationship or not, or several things like this. Generally, we want to ask someone about what decision do we want to make there. But if we zoom out and look at the life philosophy in general, maybe this is something that we will talk about today, but maybe it will not help you solve the problem at hand, but it will help you set your philosophy and goals right, and eventually help you with almost every decision that you make. And that is what we want to talk about today. So generally, do you have any comments, Taqwa, before we proceed?
I'm just very excited to start this topic right now. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about, as both of you might have noticed. And before we started this podcast, Dr. Faisal and we already had a similar conversation about this, and that's how we came into the conclusion that this could actually be a very interesting podcast episode. And the same way that it was very beneficial for me, I also wanted this, as Dr. Faisal said, to be uploaded and many other people to also get the same kind of insight and the same kind of theory that you will be sharing with us today. So, Dr. Faisal, to get started with, we could start with telling that you always seek for advice from someone who's older than you or bigger than you, or someone who has more experience than you do, because you somehow think that this is some kind of a shortcut for you, even though there's no way you would ever find the exact same circumstances in the exact same situation. But we still do seek for advice, despite everything. What do you think about the idea of even asking this question to someone else but ourselves? Like, do you think that it's even a good idea to go seek for advice from someone else, knowing that we know for sure that they don't have the same data that we do, but we still go for advice anyway?
Interesting. So my take on this is a general idea and philosophy that experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to go through that to learn anything, right? And experience is costly. It sometimes is costly in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of energy, and something like this. But the idea here is that it does not have to be the cost that you will always pay.
Yeah.
So maybe someone else has paid this cost and you are just taking advantage of that. So seeking advice is always beneficial. The question is, who are you seeking advice from, and what are their credentials, and that. And I think that is the more tricky part. Seeking advice is always beneficial. The question is, who are you seeking advice from?
Yeah.
And people have written books about that. People have talked a lot about that, on who should you trust for getting an advice.
Yeah.
And maybe we should master this rather than just asking if we should get an advice or not.
But then a counter idea would be the fact that, for example, if I wanted to talk about something that is, let's say, business related, of course the best person to ask is Bill Gates, but he's out of my reach. So no matter what happens, I will always be only seeking advice from those who are in my closest circle, I would say. So some people like yourself would be very qualified to give some very good advices, because you've been through a lot and you've been
on some topics.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same time, you are a teacher here. You're a doctor here in TUBAF, and this is, for some people, gives like some kind of
credibility.
Not a credibility. It is a credibility, but it also pushes people away, because he's a teacher. He's a doctor here. He's out of my reach, so I cannot actually go ask him, because there's some certain difference in the society level, or I don't know how to call that, but
hierarchy or something.
Exactly.
I'm a student, he's a doctor.
So exactly. Yeah. So either way, even though you're very qualified to be the person I'm supposed to seek advice from, I still cannot reach you. So this leads us to the conclusion that no matter what happens, you will always get advice only from those who are surrounded by you, even if whether they are the right person to ask advice from or not. Don't you agree?
I agree. But in this age of in this digital age, what I also believe is, the previous idea was we are average of 5 people we hang out with. So if you have your kitchen cabinet, that is the word that I was hearing yesterday in a podcast. Yeah. If you have your kitchen cabinet who is advising you on things, you have friends or people around who are telling you things. So that was your idea of getting advice from them only. Yeah. My idea in today's world is that we are average of 5 things we follow. Yeah. In today's digital world. So it can be Instagram, it can be YouTube, it can be a book we read, it can be a podcast we listen to, it can be a Twitter thread that we follow. So so that is also now your advice stream. Yeah. And for example, I have recently started using Reddit, and what I have seen is that people there are also very helpful and nice, and you can create community around the questions or challenges or problems you have, and you can very easily navigate through, even though you are not directly in contact with people. So in this digital world, that has completely changed. But another thing is, for example, it is very hard to reach Bill Gates, but he might have written some books that you can read, and you can get into head of Bill Gates on what he was thinking while making such decisions. Or you can now read biographies of all the influential people and see what they were doing and why they were doing this, and this gives you an idea. Of course, you will have to swift through their lives and see what matters to you more, but still you will have more access to them than ever before.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, you only learn from experiences, but they do not have to be your own experiences. If you're smart enough, you use someone else's time and energy and money they have spent on something, and you learn from them and apply it to yourself. Of course, it might not apply 100%, but it will also not be 0%. So it will always be in a spectrum of between 0 and 100, and probably it is usually on a higher scale than 0. So you will always be starting from plus something than 0.
I think the kicker here is that I always thought that it's like the question of who comes first. Is it the egg or was it the egg or the chicken? So like, does it have to start from within me trying to first of all filtrate all those 5 people or 5 things I mostly follow, or is it someone who just comes into your life and tries to do that for you? So you might never know.
This is interesting. So I think it is both. So once you intentionally start filtering your life, I think people around us are like liquid in a funnel. So you throw them in, and eventually they funnel through us and narrow down into the vessel that we are, right?
Yeah.
And initially, when there are a lot of people, you have no filter. Everyone just comes in and goes in. As soon as you apply filters on this funnel, only selected people will come in.
Yeah.
And they will give you a specific perspective to the world, to the life, give you specific advices, and then you will start going in their direction, and then you will only seek those kind of people, those kind of opportunities. And it is like to vice versa. So you do something, and in return you get something else, and because of that, then your reactions change, and slowly you start going in their direction.
Yeah, like in a cyclic way.
Yeah. So it is. So if you seek something, you automatically start going in the direction where you see those opportunities, where you see those people, and there are a lot of philosophies behind that. Again, people have written books around that. People have their own generally bigger philosophies around this idea, but it is like this. So if you want to surround yourself with these people, if you intentionally start doing this, filtering people around you, you will automatically get better people around you.
Yeah, but then this might lead us to another topic. But in order for us to keep in the same kind of topic, again, you don't really know what your filters are. And
of course.
And this also might be the number one thing I would seek advice for, is how to set my filters.
That's a good question. I think we will cover that in the thing that I will talk about later. But no one knows that. So not even the highest or the noblest people in the world know about that. It is an iterative process.
Yeah.
So you set some filters, you see the consequences, and then you reiterate and then improve on them a little bit. And then you see the consequences and you slowly move in that direction. But then the question will be which direction, no?
Exactly.
And that is what we can talk about. No? So just imagine that you prepare yourself, you take bath, you change your clothes, you get dressed up, you pack your bags, you leave home, right? And you and you travel from home to a bus stop by using a public transport or something like this. You spend money on that, you spend time and energy on that. You reach a bus stop, and then there are a lot of buses, transportations, possibilities to go here and there.
Yeah.
And then you're well prepared, you're ready to go off, and then you just don't know where you want to go.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look around, you see someone who seems reasonable, who seems responsible, and then you go close to them, you pull your knee, and and then you say, "What do you think? Where should I go?"
Yeah.
Right? What a waste of time and energy, right? You're doing,
because how would that person know?
No, because you left home, you wanted to go somewhere, you prepared yourself, you spent your time, energy, money to then go somewhere. You have all the means and resources, and then when you want to board, you don't know which bus or which van or which transportation you want to take.
Yeah.
Right? And instead of making a sane decision, you just ask someone else that where should you go?
To decide for you.
What does it feel like? We don't do it. So imagine you going on a bus station or on a train station and asking someone else, where should I go? We never do that in real life, right? But we always do that in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
ask this person, and then they say, yeah, I think you should go there. And
Yeah, it's always if you were in my, like, you start by saying, yeah, I want to talk with you, and okay, and then you tell them your life story,
yeah,
reaching the point where you're at the crossroads,
Yeah.
and you're like, so, after all has been said and done, if you were me, what would you do? And then
Yeah.
you're just waiting for that person to take the decision for you, to lift that load off of you, because
yeah.
you don't want to take that decision. So you're asking, should I go right or left? And then,
So put this in this. So put this in the same analogy of going to a bus station, no? So
yeah.
you left home. You have your own circumstances. You have your own money in your pocket. You have your own luggage. You have your own ideas about what you like or what you do not like. And then you suddenly reach at a bus stop and you are asking someone else to which bus or van should I choose, right? And then they suggest you something. So take this one or that one,
Yeah.
right? Based on their best intention, based on whatever they know or whatever they're offering, right? And then you look at that bus or van, and then you realize it does not look pretty,
Yeah.
and then you just don't board that, right? And then you look at another van, and a lot of people are in line to buy a ticket for that, and then you think, yeah, a lot of people are going there, maybe I should go there.
Yeah.
And then you go and stand in that line, and you talk to the person in front of you, where are you going and why are you going there? And then they say, yeah, I'm going there because I saw this long line,
Yeah.
and I'm standing here just because of that. And why are you here? And I'm also here because this is a long line.
Yeah. The theory of waiting in long lines. It's actually a thing.
What's the theory of standing in long lines?
Like the fact that you just want to fit in. You just want to fit in. So
you just go with the herd mentality. So everyone is becoming an engineer, so you also want to become an engineer.
Just because that's the common thing there.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
So this analogy of a bus station, going there
Yeah.
without knowing where you want to go and why you want to go there, and just standing on the bus station and asking people around, where should I go?
Yeah.
Or then boarding a bus that looks very pretty, or boarding a bus that has a lot of people inside already,
Yeah.
or a bus that has the lowest fare, right, are different criterias, right? But they're not the right ones.
But then, how would you know what is the right one?
Because these are there is another philosophy around it, but the idea is that these are not the right ones, right? Boarding a bus just because the fare is low is not a right criteria. Boarding a bus just because a random person told you to board this bus is not a right criteria,
Yeah.
right? A right criteria is, before leaving home, making a plan.
You should know where you're going.
What should I pack? How much money should I have? When should I reach the bus station? When does the bus leave? Right?
But
And where does it go? And why do I want to go there? That is how we travel in our actual lives and world, right? We do not leave home just with this thought of, I will go wherever the fare will be the lowest.
But then, Dr. Faisal, I think this is, with you saying this, you're excluding a whole category of people that is, like, maybe I could be one of them. And that is, I feel like my life, I don't actually have a daylight. I only have a night. And my means of transportation is actually a car, and I can only see the few next steps and not the whole road, because my life is dark and it's not light. I'm switching to night mode. So if you take the same analogy and try to fit it within the night mode, I think then you will have to work only with whatever comes next and not whatever comes next, because you can't see it.
Absolutely true.
And that's I think for most of people, we think that we are having a day life, but we're actually in complete darkness. Otherwise, everything would be already so clear, and we don't even need to seek for advice for anyone else to, because it would be some of the decisions that especially people who are older than us give us. When you look at it, it's actually very common sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to tell me to not study because you know that the common sense says that you need to study. So because your life is in daylight, you already know that this is the right thing to do. And if my life was in daylight, I would also know that by just common sense. I don't even need to seek for advice. So the thing is, we're actually not talking about a normal day. We're talking about night, when we actually don't have lots of predictions of what's going to happen next. Otherwise, if we had the whole picture already in our heads, then the hustle would already be done and over.
I will delay the answer. I will delay the answer a little bit. We just continue to play with this analogy, right?
Yeah.
So
we will, but I also wanted to say that, analysis by paralysis, paralysis by analysis, analysis paralysis, whatever. So just taking so much time to think about things and trying to make everything perfect, and my journey should be as perfect as possible. I should put everything in my bag that I would need, but I really don't know 100% where I'm going. Maybe along the path I'm gonna find like a desert part where I should wear desert stuff. Maybe I'm gonna find a tropical forest. Maybe I'm gonna find a very deep river with alligators. Should I get a sword, for example? I don't know. So I don't know what exactly I should put in my bag. But then you're saying, no, you should know. So I should spend so much time analyzing and planning and perfect my plan so that I could be prepared for absolutely everything that I'm gonna see on my journey.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and at the same time, you're by extension, experience sometimes happens. Like, let's say wisdom happens by experience, that you become wise enough that you know things that you like and you don't like, not by planning, but by actually just jumping right in and seeing that, oh my God, this sucked so bad. I don't want to do this again in my life. Or I love this so much, I want to do this again in my life. And both of them are good.
Yeah.
And both of them happened not by planning, but by simply just jumping right in.
Exactly.
Yeah. The idea is that you have to have some plan in mind. So what you just elaborated is a perfect plan that is already in your mind. And of course that never happens. And then what I said was completely the other side of this thing, which is completely go there as unplanned. So it is a wide spectrum.
Two sides of the spectrum. Yeah.
Two sides of the spectrum, but there is a wide spectrum in between them. Just understand this. So what I see is that most of the people are not on this planning side of the spectrum. They are on the completely opposite side of the spectrum. So they live their lives. Dangerously
spontaneous.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So even if you want to experience something, you will know why I want to experience this specific thing. So why am I wasting my energy, time, money in getting this experience? Because this will help me with something that I want to do later, and not something else. So there are billions of experiences you can do, and yet you will choose 2 or 3 spontaneously, not billions of them. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So deciding which experiences you want to have. So that is what I'm saying. So start a little bit planned. Of course, that if you put this into analogy, right? You came out of home with an idea that I will need this much money and I will need this much clothes to go there for a 1-week trip, right? And then once you reach the bus stop, you realize, oh, the fares have changed.
Yeah.
Right? So your planning is now shaking.
Yeah.
Right? And then, oh, the fares have changed. I can do something. I have some savings. I can put them in. I can still go there. Okay. The earlier bus went in the morning, and now the next bus will come in 5 hours. You will just sit there and wait for the next bus. You will not take another bus just because your bus is delayed. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So you already have an idea. You already planned.
Yeah. At least you're excluding some stuff.
So the plan is now getting disrupted. But your idea of where I want to go and what do I want to do there does not get disrupted just because the bus was not there.
Yeah.
Right? You wait there. You're not boarding the prettiest bus. You're not boarding the most loaded bus. You're not boarding the most cheapest bus. Right? You're just waiting there, and then the bus comes, and then it is not in a very good condition. Right? The windows are broken. The seats are not.
You
nice.
will take it anyway.
You will take it anyway. Why? Why? Because you've
already decided.
Because you want to go there for a certain reason.
Yeah.
Right? You will not say, oh, maybe this is a bad decision. I should not take this bus. You will suffer, yet you will still be contented and satisfied because you have taken the right bus and you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Maybe in the middle the bus will get broken down. Maybe you will be hungry. Maybe you will be thirsty. Right? Maybe you will not be traveling with the best people, but you will still take that bus. You will still reach your destination because you planned for that, and there is a certain reason for that. Do you understand that? So the idea is you cannot always make a perfect plan, but if you decide where you want to go,
just set the sails in a certain direction.
Yes, and then deal with everything else. And then dealing with everything else is basically life that happens to us, right?
Yeah.
And that is one of the realities. So we always want to. So what we always strive for is. Show me a bus that goes to a city which has most resources, right? Or show me a bus that is the prettiest one, or that is the most comfortable one. This is our philosophy of dealing with life, right? We generally do not ask so this is all about the journey, right? But it will go somewhere. We will be somewhere after some time, and then we will have to deal with that situation. That is usually not what we talk about. We just talk about which bus to take because it is the most comfortable one, and then it doesn't matter where will I be in 4 or 5 hours and what will I do there. But just talking about this makes this decision of, okay, I can take this bus, I can make this short-term decision, but in the longer run this will be much better. It will make this much easier, right? And then the thing is that maybe once you will reach there, you have an imagination or an idea in mind that I want to go there because of this. And once you reach there, a lot of people are there. You cannot do business there, or you cannot meet the people who you wanted to, or you cannot visit a place that you wanted to, or you cannot do something that you really wanted to. That the reason why you were traveling there.
Yeah.
But then you will seek an alternative from there onwards. Okay, I could not do this here. What should I do next?
Yeah.
And the idea is you have to have and this is something that you will learn from experience, right? So this is what I'm calling experience. So next time you will choose a bus, you will make a more rational decision. You will not ask someone which bus should I take. You will ask someone who will be coming back from there, what are the conditions there? Is everything fine, right? So you will ask the right questions to choose which bus you should take now. And when does it leave? And for example, what are the timings? Has the fare changed? You will ask the right questions next time based on your previous experience, but at least you will have an idea in mind, and still life will happen. It will not go in a perfect way, but you will be satisfied, contented, and happy, and maybe happy, maybe not happy, but satisfied and contented with the decisions you will make.
And that's why before you leave your home, you should definitely, along with the money, you should pack a lot of flexibility too.
Yes. That is super important. So if we are very rigid with, okay, I have planned for this, and because I have planned for this, so now everything should happen because as I've planned, you will be very unhappy and dissatisfied because you are just not flexible enough to understand that life happens in the bay. And you still have to go through this to reach your destination or anything that you had imagined before leaving home.
Yeah, I think it makes so much sense.
I think we should wrap up this point as Taqwa, you can just finish wrapping up this point because we have another analogy to make. So this was the bus stop analogy. Now we have another one, which is in 10 minutes maybe cannon to shoot flies analogy.
We will try.
We will try to finish that in 10 minutes.
I was actually going to that too, but it's okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
but for
You
example,
ruined it. I will edit this
yeah,
out.
but for example, the question
No,
is
it's fun.
sometimes I face this question of, yeah, but what if the bus never comes?
Yeah.
Right? You plan for something, you reach a bus stop, but what if a bus never goes there? Right? Or what if
Yeah.
you are in a desert
At least you just
and
did
you
your
do
part.
not- and you do
No
not-
regrets.
and you do not have a bus stop at all? Right?
Yeah.
The thing is, what do you do then? So in if you're standing in a desert, you have 1,000 possibilities to go in any direction.
Yeah.
Right? If
Mhm.
you will start moving now,
Mhm.
right, any direction will not make a difference because you're only moving 2 feet.
Yeah.
Right? But in long time,
Mhm.
so if you will keep walking for 5 hours or 6 hours, you will be very far away from all the other paths that you could follow,
Mhm.
and now you can only follow this one path. Do you understand
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So if there is no bus, if you cannot do anything, what you would do is you will walk towards your destination, right? And you will see, for example, if you can get a bicycle to go there, you will get a bicycle to go there, and then bicycle will make your journey a little bit faster. And then, for example, you will sit somewhere, you will find some resources, and maybe you will have a motorbike, right? And that will make your journey even faster, right? But for a motorbike, now you need fuel, right? So
Yeah.
you refuel from time to time. So what
Mhm.
I see is that all these things that we ride on are, for example, our degrees or certifications, our programs that we go through, and this fuel is in general life is what I would call money
Mhm.
or resources that we use to fuel all this, right? This fuel will make you go faster. And then, for example, you have a car,
Mm.
and then you can go even faster, and then rain or storm does not disrupt your journey. So you are collecting all these resources, and you have more fuel, and you can go there faster. And then you will have someone sitting in the car with you, and you will go there with them.
Mhm.
It can be your spouse, it can be your friends, and that will make your journey even more interesting and more sound. But
Yeah.
you will still go in a certain direction. This is not sitting in a car with your friends or with your family is not the goal. These are just means to go somewhere faster without interruption in a certain direction,
Yeah.
right? And what I have seen is that most of us fascinate having a very nice car full
Rather
of
than-
fuel
Yeah.
standing in the garage,
Mhm.
right? And that is what we always fascinate. And that is and it is such a useless thing. We never do this in our actual lives, right?
Mhm.
We never buy a car that we never drive. We never fill fuel in it that we will never use. But in life, we just want to have very high degrees, very high positions, and a lot of money for nothing. And we believe these are our life goals, but these are just means to
Tools. Yeah.
the life goals.
Yeah.
And that is where things, most of the people, what I see is this is where they have their decisions upside down. So they are looking for friends and family who can sit with them in a very nice car that has a full tank standing in a garage,
Yeah.
because that is the safest, right? It does not hit the road. It cannot go into any difficulties. It cannot go into any problems. And that is what they would want. And once they have that, right, you will see that people are still not happy and still not satisfied and contented because you're doing the wrong thing. No one will enjoy sitting in an idle car with everyone, not going anywhere. But this is very absurd to hear when we talk about these things in terms of analogies.
Mhm.
But that we do not do this in real life. We do not go on a bus stop and ask a random person, where should I go? Or we do not sit in a random car. Do not sit in a very nice car with a tank full with all the people that we like in it, just standing in a garage, right? But we all do this in real lives, and we think this is my life goal.
I think people set these kind of life goals because this is the one. So usually, what you call your life goal is something that you don't have yet.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do,
Mm-hmm.
like it doesn't matter how you practice it.
Yeah. So
A counter idea would be that like some people, even if they have a very good car sitting in a garage, they actually might be happy also. because maybe that was their goal. No.
Yeah, that is. So the idea is this can never be a goal. This can be a milestone. So we have to change the definition.
I don't think it's a milestone. I think that the root of this idea should be grounded on the fact that you know who you are first, and you know what are your values, and you know what is your big fly, and you know what you want to aim for. So if you want to aim for a car that is very good and it's gonna be sitting in a garage, go ahead, be my guest. It's okay, as long as that's your value. But then I just don't want you to be in contradiction with yourself. So even though some people put materialistic stuff as their goals, as long as they know themselves and they know that that's what they want to achieve, then I think it's okay. I think it's okay for them to sit in a garage without doing anything. Because that's their goal. That's what they worked hard for. That's their journey.
Yeah.
That's their end of tunnel. That's how they wanted it to be. So I know. According to your idea and according to your kind of theory, you think that these are just one things that you just hit along the way, trying to aim for your big fly. And I want you to explain for all of everyone who's listening to us right now, what is a big fly and what are the just to get into this theory, if you may. Yeah.
So then we can connect it with another analogy, which is like, I see life as a cannon. Right, so you have a big cannon where a lot of natural resources have been put together to create this, right? And then you have the fuel, and then you have all the power in it. For example, in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of energy that we have in our lives, and then we want to use it to do something, right? So life is like a cannon.
Yeah.
And then we usually use it, so we can use it a few times, right? And usually what we do is we use it to, for example, hit smaller, what I will again call milestones, right? So I want to settle in this country, or I want to have residence of this, or I want to have money, or I want to be with this person. Or I want to have this degree, or want to have a job there, or enough savings, or something like this, right? And then what we usually see is that these are the smaller things that if we focus on the bigger goals would automatically get sorted out. So the bigger goals will always be, for example, being more socially useful, right? So contributing more to the community. It can be in any terms. So you can make lives easier. You can serve someone. You have a skill. You share it with other people. You make their lives easier. So whatever. If you will focus on this, you will automatically get money. You will automatically get recognition. You will automatically get all these things that we focus on in the middle, right? But if you focus on earning money, if you focus on, for example, getting famous, if you focus on smaller targets and goals, again, what I will call milestones, is what it does is it changes our focus completely. And now we are only focusing on a small fly that is moving around, right? And we try to just hit this fly with the whole cannon that we had, and completely miss the bigger goal and target. Right? But if we fired a cannon in any ways by focusing on the bigger goal or the bigger target, this fly would get killed anyway in the middle, right? And we will not have to really focus on this. Maybe not exactly where we want to kill it. Maybe not exactly how we want to kill it, but eventually it will get killed. Yeah. Right?
Using the term is a bit... yeah.
So that's...
YouTube is gonna censor this podcast. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. So, but that's the idea there, no? With this analogy, that maybe we should focus on bigger targets and goals rather than fixating on the flies, and that is how we can get the more appropriate results, as well as something that we expect in the middle.
That's exactly why I said that this should be grounded on and based on you knowing yourself. Because for some people, this might be very noble, that your bigger value and your bigger fly and your biggest goal could be, for example, being a good citizen, or being a good father, or being a good I don't know what. But for some people, it could also just be me being famous. So it depends on you whether you know yourself or not.
My question will be,
and you can never know yourself if you don't start hitting some flies anyway, because this will let you gain experience, and with experience you get to know yourself more. And therefore, again, going back to the same idea of us living in night mode and not in daylight, we only have one torch, and we are only looking at like things that are a bit not very far from us. So this is the only thing that is clearly visible for us, and we can maybe base our lives on. So yeah, I think it just depends on you, first of all, getting to know yourself before you even try to set a goal to yourself.
Yeah, so for example, even if you're trying to move at night, you would have an idea in mind where you want to go, right? Even though you cannot see very far, even though you cannot travel very fast, but you will still have an imagination in mind where you want to go, right? And based on a short, small light, or a very narrow vision that you have, you will still be collecting evidence if you're probably going in the right direction or not in the right direction.
Yeah.
Based on whatever you have thought or imagined.
Yeah.
And somewhere down the line, you will collect evidence for this or maybe against this. And the idea is that once you realize that I am not really going in the right direction, or I am going in the right direction, then collect as much resources as you can and start going there faster. Or stop, pause, look at a bigger picture, look around. Maybe in going in the other directions will give you a better perspective, and then try that and then start going in that direction. So the idea exactly originates from the first analogy where we talked about the bus stop, is first know yourself. So before you leave home, before you start spending energy, time, effort, money.
No, you actually have to leave home, but just go for short walks, because you can't figure out yourself if you're just staying at home with your thoughts.
But you still have to at least start with something. So
exactly.
you cannot be infinitely anywhere. You still have to start with, for example, okay, this is where I want to go. And knowing ourselves, knowing our values and ideas helps a lot with setting up expectations.
Yeah.
And also, for example, setting up the right questions. So then I would go on the bus stop, and or I will go for a short walk. Instead of asking people where should I go, I will ask the right questions. So my values are this, right? Based on these, and my limitations or constraints are these, and based on them, what are my possibilities?
Yeah.
So I am not asking this question of where should I go, but asking a question of what leads to these outcomes or these possibilities. And I think this, we still go through life. We still will do the same thing. We will leave our home. We will meet people. We will take a bus. We will go somewhere. But looking at from a different perspective of asking the right questions, knowing ourselves, knowing that I have still not known myself completely, and then surrounding ourselves with people who are able to help us better with the questions, genuine questions that we have, will still give us a better chance of reaching where we will feel better.
Yeah. I have some ideas about this, and I think that one other big factor that we did not talk about is that yes, life happens to us, but then there's also this thing that made us be here. Like almost all the data that we're living, almost everything, at least up till we are 20 or 21, or it depends on the country. All those kind of circumstances were given to you. You did not create them. So it's like you're not only trying to know yourself, you're actually trying to define and to go against a lot of the things that were given to you as a given ever since you were born. So despite the fact that this, when you talk about it, sounds easy, but we cannot deny how really hard it is. It really is very hard, and I think that for all of those who still feel like they're a little bit lost and they don't know what to do with life and why they are here and all of that, I think it's just okay to sometimes just take a deep breath and accept the fact that it's an endless puzzle that always comes with lots of challenges and comes with different creative solutions that you, guess what, have to come up with your own self. So just embrace this fact and try to enjoy and have fun while trying to solving that, because it actually does not have an ending point. Like there isn't, I don't think that anyone on this earth has reached to a point where everything is sorted out. So
True.
just take it easy, I would say.
Yeah. I fully agree and understand. So that is why it is super important not to just understand ourselves, but also understand the limitations and constraints that we have around, and why are we a certain way. So there are multiple layers to knowing ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And going through these layers always is more helpful
And challenging.
and challenging and helpful in a way that once we understand that I want certain things, but I also have to understand why do I want certain things, and can I reframe them, right? And then also knowing which constraints or limitations I have, and how can I play the game that I have to play, and not just a completely new or different game that I want to play, right? And these are the things that eventually help us navigate. But the idea here is this philosophy of understanding that whenever you, it is very weird to ask a complete stranger and just say, where should I go? Or just having all the resources and having this as a goal, right? So you want to use the resources because you want to do something with them. And for example, you have this energy and power to really focus on a goal and break it down. But then instead of focusing on the bigger goal, we even focus on small goals. It does not help at all. So the idea is to have this philosophy in mind when going through life, and then reframing things. And of course, that's what I mentioned. Life happens. Things are not same for everyone. All lives are not created equal.
Yeah.
And we should embrace that. And basically that is the whole fun part. So that is why we need multiple people in the car, or we need more companions in the journey.
Yeah,
so
5 at least.
So everyone has their own expertise and skills, and we can all have fun along the way.
Yep.
You need 5 people in your life to function, and you need 5 independent plastic sip systems for plastic deformation too. So.
Okay.
And that's a very nice wrap for today's podcast. Dr. Faisal, thank you so much for the insightful inputs that you always have. And Taqwa, you have been today splendid in your questions and your input also, and your Ergänzungen zu dem Thema. So, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.